The beginning of the end of mankind, in my opinion, happened in 1969 when the book I'm Okay, You're Okay came out. I'm okay, you're okay. The premise of the book is whatever you do is okay, and I accept you for what you are and who you are and what you do, and whatever I do, you do the same. The guys on Wall Street used to laugh and say, I'm okay, you're okay, cha-cha-cha, because it was a joke. The book was written like a fucking joke, but because of you people that read 2 books a day, it was a bestseller, and that was the beginning of the end. Because everything you do, asshole, isn't okay. And if you think so, you better get super rich and go live on a fucking island in the middle of nowhere. You want to take the easy way out because you think life is a journey. That is horseshit. Life's a journey if you're a moron. That's why, that's what you've done with the life up heretofore. It's been a journey. And how good is the fucking journey? You tell me. Do you think life is a journey for the Trump kids? It's a motherfucking process, the same process his daddy raised him by. Some of the kids, I say, go to school. But if you're in the first year of university, I normally say drop out. Or if you haven't gone to school, I normally say don't start. And a lot of parents hate me. If you're in the second year of a 3-year program, finish. If you're the third year of a 4-year program, finish. Or if you're, halfway through your master's degree or halfway through your PhD or something, I say finish. But if you're in your first year of medical school, forget about it. I mean, the medical school and the residency and all that takes too long. You can do a lot of good damage in those years. We are a product of our social and economic milieus. We are a product of our parents and their parents. Now, the first 7 years of life is when 7-8 years of life, self-esteem is built. Who are around the first 7-8 years of life? A mom, maybe a dad, right? Maybe one grandparent, maybe an older brother or sister. Now, what in God's name do they know anything about raising high-performance people? Zippo, zero, nothing. Now, we're going to show some examples of kids that are programmed for success. Most people that come from poverty-stricken backgrounds are told their key out of the barrio, out of the ghetto, is education. We've heard that story, okay? I'm here to tell you it's not. Not just because I went to a school you got to explain about. But even if I'd come to this fine university, this is one of the universities that wouldn't accept me when I came back from the military. I got a list of schools that wouldn't accept me. I just got not even a rejection letter, I got a letter, next. But they made the right decision because they were basing their admittment or potential admittment on what I had accumulated in education, what I had done with my life before, which was pretty close to nothing. It's not dissimilar to when I went to school, and I already told you what a poor student I was. Flunking out, I never took the books home. And I guess that was my way of saying, I'll flunk out for sure. Well, if you never took the books home, I didn't even flunk out because somehow I'm smart enough to absorb through osmosis, sleeping in the back of the class, enough to graduate in the middle third of my class. And the interesting thing about it, I told you that the most famous thing about 1963, when I graduated from high school, is it was the last year that you could beat corporal punishment, beat students legally. The last year. And in my not so humble opinion, the world has deteriorated geometrically since 1963. When you can still get my goddamn beat down and not get in trouble. Can you imagine if the principals and the various student or teachers in the classes now, I didn't like what Sean said, I'd just come out whacking. Other than the personal thrill I would get out of it. I mean, can you imagine if you went to school and that happened? There wouldn't be enough time slots on CNN and all those programs for all the beatings and the trials of the people getting sued for doing the beatings. 63. There's been some educational studies done that America educational system has deteriorated almost every year consistently since 1963. Every single solitary year since 1963, the educational system in the United States. I can't speak for the other countries. I don't know when you couldn't beat anybody anymore. But as I said, when Joe Rogan said, so what is the secret to the success? I said, fucking beatings. And he looked at beatings. Two other myths. One, adopted children can develop normally. Wrong. Second myth, single parenting works. Wrong. I can go down the list. And why do we say adopted people can have normal development? Because some psychiatrists or psychologists who wanted to write a book that was to be liked said it was okay. Because a majority of the people he thought or she thought were going to be adopted that bought his book. The beginning of the end of mankind, in my opinion, happened in 1969 when the book I'm Okay, You're Okay came out. I'm Okay, You're Okay. And it was by a psychiatrist named Stein. And he basically said the premise of the book is whatever you do is okay, and I accept you for what you are and who you are and what you do, and whatever I do, you do the same. And the guys on Wall Street used to laugh and say, I'm okay, you're okay, cha-cha-cha. Because it was a joke. The book was written like a fucking joke, but because of you people that read 2 books a day, contrary to what Einstein said, it was a bestseller, and that was the beginning of the end. That was the beginning of the end. Because everything you do, asshole, isn't okay. And if you think so, you better get super rich and go live on a fucking island in the middle of nowhere where you're not affecting anybody. If that were the case, then you could never default on a loan. I'm okay, you're okay. And I mean, the absurdity of it is beyond comprehension. The worst thing that my mother could say, because he was always gone, well, that's fine, Danny. Would you like me to tell your father about this? Fuck, no, no fucking way do I want that. And so then I tried to cheat her on it, right? And she'd come into my room, and she'd knock on the door, and I better answer that door in about 1/2 of a second. Less than that. And I said, yeah, Mom, I says, I have a feeling that maybe we don't have a meeting of the minds here. Are you sure you don't want me to get your father involved? No, Mom, no, please. No, I don't want Dad involved. No way, shape, manner, or fucking form. And that's how they kept me straight. And if the nuns beat me at school, my dad, it was good. That means you should get beat again. Because they only caught you for, and Sally and I support several orphanages, 2 of which are Mother Teresa, or Saint Teresa now, orphanages, and we met the senior nuns that came from Rome, women in their 80s. And I tell these stories about getting beat by the nuns. And the young nuns, the assistants, that was before their time. But when you talk to the old-time nuns, and then they say, well, Mr. Pena, yes, but the church has evolved. That's their answer. The church has evolved. And what other institution, this is the story, what other institution has lasted 2,000 years? We've evolved. We've learned from those experiences. I know Catholic-raised kids that if you put your hands out, they can still go like this because of getting whacked by the nuns. I used to teach catechism, if you can believe it or not. I used to teach Bible study. Fucking Bible. Can you fucking believe I taught Bible study? Praise the Lord and pass the fucking ammunition. Goddamn right. And when and the nuns and the 2 senior nuns, and they say, oh, and then I can still remember some of it. And so they say, well, he's a good man. He's a good, and I have like 400 or 500 nuns that pray for me every day, Sally and I, because the more successful you are, Mr. Pena, the more you can help us. We support a mission in Sri Lanka, a school in Rwanda, 3 orphanages in the Philippines. I mean, and I'm drawn towards Catholicism, rightly or wrongly. The Catholic Church says if you give us your kid the first 7 or 8 years, you will own him for life. And that's true. And they own me. Lock, stock, and barrel. And for 85 or 90% of all the charities Sally and I support are Catholic. And I got all these hundreds of nuns praying for me every motherfucking day. I'm going to be on that. I teased the nuns. I said, you're going to all go to purgatory, sisters. And when I'm on that jet to fucking the big one, and they all say, you will. I mean, and every time I say a bad word, they're like this. And, you know, they had say hundreds of rosaries for me daily. For the Catholic, you know, hundreds of rosaries for me daily. So, I mean, I'm just covering my bases. I'm just covering my bases. And when we support something that's non-Catholic, Sister Luce, who is at in Sri Lanka at the mission, well, she says, we should stay focused, Dan. We should, meaning Catholic, and you know, we should stay focused. You know, that's a Lutheran thing in Rwanda, which I think it is. Yeah, but that means give us the money, and they mean it in a good way. But I mean, there's no greater money gathering organization in the Catholic Church. Like a fucking Hoover, a vacuum cleaner, they go around sucking that money up.